What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video I will be swapping out my rear wheel bearing because its bearings all wear out. Mine has already developed the play, which is not good. So in today's video I will be swapping out my rear wheel bearing. So first thing first, you want to jack up the car. Alright guys, now the car has been jacked up. I'll just quickly show you guys. You can see the wheel rock real bad. So that's a example of bad wheel bearing. Sometimes when you're driving, the wheel bearing would make a whining noise. So that is the indication of a bad wheel bearing as well. But sometimes it can be tire. But yeah, if you put your hand on 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock and rock the wheel back and forward, it shouldn't have any play. If you have your hand on the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, shouldn't have any play. But look at this, the play is bad. So let's take the wheel off and start from there. And now you want to take out the bolts that is holding the rear brake caliper. You want to take out that bolt and this bolt. So after you do that, the caliper will come off, and the bolt is 90mm. Alright, after taking out those two bolts, you want to rest the caliper on top of the control arm, because you don't want to stress the brake line. And now the rotor is free to go. If it's not, usually it will be stuck on the car. Just whack it, use a mallet or hammer, whack it here, don't whack on the disc, and it'll come off. You can see this is your handbrake, e-brake, and this is the bearing, this is the hub, and behind the hub is the bearing. And you can see the play, right? So in order to take the bearing out, you have to take out the rear CV or axle. So you want to undo this pin and then undo the screw, which is, I believe, 32 socket. And after doing that, you want to undo this axle, which is 40mm. So what you want to do is get a plier and then just carefully, you don't want to break it. Well, you can buy another one because they're pretty cheap, and you just want to bend it straight, put one side into the hole and then just pull it out. And 32mm. After that, that's your axle. You want to get under the car, so it's 14mm both sides. Get a socket, get a spanner, and after you take out all 6 bolts, you can select the whole axle out. Alright, so now all the bolts are out. You simply can just, but you want to wiggle it out like here, this part. You probably need 2 hands, but what you want to do is just you want to wiggle it out. Alright, now the axle is out, so it won't be in the way to access these 4 bolts, which are the 4 bolts that is holding the wheel bearing in place. So simply undo all of those. I believe there's 17 or something. Undo those and your wheel bearing should pop out. If it doesn't, it's probably because the wheel bearing here that is seized onto the metal. So you probably want to grab a mallet or a hammer or something to hammer it out. But just keep in mind that when you're hammering it out, potentially could damage the bearing even more. But I mean, you're gonna replace it anyway. So, and after taking out these bolts, the wheel bearing should just come right out like that. So usually around here get rusty and get seized up, so you might have to like hammer the bearing. So you guys can see I hammered it here. If you don't want to have that problem next time, just put like grease there, so next time when you take it out it'll be easier. With that being said, the front is the hub, the rear part is the bearing. So the front hub is pressed into the bearing. When you get the bearing replaced, you can buy the whole unit, but that's probably going to cost you 250 bucks, around about that. But if you just only going to buy the bearing, it'd probably be quite a bit cheaper. It's probably going to cost you like around 100 bucks, and but you have to get some body to press it in, get some shop. They have to use a 20-ton press. That is probably still going to be work out cheaper than just buying a whole unit. With that being said, I'm going to get the new one on here. Alright guys, so you can see the new bearing, it's already in there, and then there's zero play back and forth, there's no play whatsoever. So the 4 bolts on the back, the torque spec on those are 75 to 94 Newton meters, which I will probably just do 85 on them. I'll just put all the torque spec on calipers, drive shaft, the locking nut, the wheel bearing on the video, so you guys can pause it if you need to. Alright, so I've just torqued down all the axle bolts and the axle nut and the caliper and the wheel bearing. Obviously you really don't want to use air tool to just tighten this, because you could stress out the bearing by over tightening it or not tightening it enough. So just gonna put a cotter pin back in there, bend it, and then put my wheel on there. Alright guys, now the wheel is back on there. So this is the wheel. You can see I'm rocking it back and forth, and absolutely zero movement. So yeah, basically this is how you guys change a wheel bearing on 350Z G35. It's pretty simple. Stay tuned for the next video. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.